Well, it may be cold outside, but believe it or not, it's time for the absolutely, completely random podcast for Saturday, December 23rd, 2017. I'm your host, Andrew Rhodes, and once again, welcoming everyone here to the podcast. Though I might be tired, it was my last and final night of night shift, and yes, I can be happy now. But what do I have to talk about this week here on the podcast? Well, a lot of things. I'm talking about a blast in the past for old school Dragon Ball fans who got a major shock to the system last week when the voice appeared in the latest episode of the dub for Dragon Ball Super. Yeah, I'm going to be discussing that. I'm going to be talking about how the UPS has managed to lose a family's inheritance of nearly $1 million, but decided that $32 was more than adequate to offer them as a refund. Yeah, what do you hear this story? Here's something interesting. Were you around 20 years ago? Well, if you were, you may have seen or possibly heard about the infamous Seizure inducing Pokemon episode. Yep, that's right, that turns 20 years old. The live-action One Piece series that I've constantly been complaining about is going to begin with the East Blue arc. Oh, joy. A question from the Answer Man, question series and all that stuff, detailing about old anime titles, like old anime dubs and stuff like that were on the TV. Are they lost forever? It's actually kind of interesting to hear the reply to this. And finally, something that, even if it's fake news, because I'm not sure if it's real or not, if it's fake news, even I'm thinking is hilarious. But apparently, William Shatner has announced that his favorite Love Live character is Yumi. Apparently. Yep, I'm going to be discussing that. How often do I get to talk about Captain Kirk? Yeah! But anyway, But anyway, like always, with this magical time of year, if you're interested in anything collectible, whatnot, weird oddities, strange, unusual things, check out my eBay page. A-Roads-2012 on eBay. A tremendous amount of weird and unusual oddities, collectibles, action figures, what have you. A whole bunch of weird stuff. It's a little late anymore now to get something in time for the holidays, but you can still have it in time for New Year's, maybe. Possibly. I don't know. Somewhat. Be sure to check out my page either way. You can also follow me on Twitter at OtakuRoads. So, how was my week? Let's just get it out in the open. Night shift is done and over with. Hey! Yeah, so first off, that's a wonderful thing. Let's just get a round of applause going. Night shift's over. Night shift's done. Yay! Night shift is done. It's finished. Woohoo! No more! I'm really excited for the fact that night shift is officially over. I don't have to deal with it anymore. I am pissed to no end for how long it took. And some of that stuff it just felt like time just dragged on. And it's a pain in the neck. So night shift is done and over with. Yay! I'm back on day shift starting Thursday morning. Yay! Which is also good because I'm really tired. And this week's was basically my own fault. I got invited up to a friend's place for a little holiday party and didn't get a chance to really get a nap in. And what's ironic is that before the podcast even started tonight, before I even started recording it, I did manage to fall asleep. I want to say for like a good hour. So that is kind of interesting. But either way, now I'm trying to get things better, but stuff happens, things like that. But either way, podcast is still going to be going strong, and now that night shift is done, I can finally start getting back to other things. And man, I'm just so happy that night shift is over. You have no idea how happy I am that night shift is over. None whatsoever. But anyway, that's pretty much how my week went. Peaceful, quiet, stuck doing night shift. Woo! But otherwise, onward and upward, and let's get started with the podcast, shall we? So, to begin with, I just want to start this off by saying the following. I don't trust many shipping companies to begin with. I don't trust the United States Postal Service that much. I'm not a big fan of FedEx. And after this, I'm really not that huge of a fan of UPS. Because apparently the United Postal Service, yeah, that's right, that's what it stands for, by the way, UPS. Yeah. They managed to lose a family's inheritance of nearly $1 million. The family's inheritance was just about $846,000. And it had been issued by TD Bank as a bank draft. They lost the bank draft containing a Canadian family's inheritance, and initially they tried making things right by offering to refund a mere $32 shipping fee. That's just wonderful. Yeah, I'm out, almost $1 million of an inheritance. Sure, I'll take $32. Why not? I'm just a complete moron and an idiot, but sure, why not? I'm only out almost $1 million, but yeah, I'll take the $32. Said no one ever. The drama began in February when Louis Paul Herbert told CBC that his family was going over his father's will and dividing money between family members. Herbert said he went to a UPS store near his Cornwall, Ontario home to pick up a package his sister Loretta had apparently sent him containing a bank check with his part of the fortune. It's quoted as saying, I'm waiting at the UPS store around 3 p.m. because that's when they said the guys came in. Nothing shows up. Herbert told CBC News, it was quoted saying, continuing the quote, I came back in the evening. Nothing shows up. And I'm wondering what's happened to my inheritance. Well, Taylor said she sent the check from TD Bank through the UPS so her brother would not have to travel 270 miles to pick it up. Yeah. Wonderful, huh? Taylor said that the bank guaranteed the draft would get to Herbert safely. Oh, yes, the banks will guarantee that, huh? A vow that helped convince her to use UPS's services. And TD also pledged to Taylor and her husband John, it would replace the money if the draft got lost. Here's the best part. They said a bank draft is more appropriate, according to Taylor. Never in my wildest imagination did I ever think something like this would happen. I don't blame you. So the UPS can't trace the draft's location. They need proof of it to prove that it wasn't destroyed or just being used and they're trying to cheat the money. But this is my personal favorite. So, TD Bank refused to issue a new check unless Taylor signed an agreement to pay back the bank if someone cashes the lost draft. So in other words, we have no idea where draft A is. We're trying to get it redrafted B, but if somebody manages to find A and cashes it, which by the way would be pretty damn difficult even in this day and age, you are forcing the person to agree to pay you back almost $1 million. Way to go! So, it also said that if something happened to them, for example, that their children and heirs and spouse and executor would have to pay this debt, and she didn't really want to sign it. I don't blame her. Eventually, however, the woman said she signed the form, but the bank never paid anyone a dime. The bank instead put a lien against her home in case the errant check was cashed. However, she refused. If the bank really wants indemnity, then UPS should sign it, which I agree. So Herbert said he was out of cash and needed the inheritance to survive. TD has the money. The money is actually sitting in an account with TD. Nothing has been stolen. It's there. It's my inheritance, he said. Yeah, it's there. That's my inheritance, he said. I would have been retired. Following initial reports of the misfortune surrounding the missing fortune, TD stepped up, releasing the $846,000 on Thursday, issuing an apology. Now this came in last week though, folks. So this would have been last Thursday before. Yeah, it missed my podcast literally by just a couple minutes. But here's my favorite part. A spokeswoman for TD Canada Trust told CBC News, "We understand that we've reached a resolution with our customer. It's clear to us we didn't get this right along the way, and that there was more we could have done to come to a resolution faster." No duh. According to Taylor's lawyers, confirmed apparently to CBC News that she has the new check. It looks like the matter will be settled. But that's just scary for starters. What happened to the check? Did it disappear? Did it fall off the face of the world? Is it currently sitting in somebody's Swiss bank account somewhere? The world, sort of like, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know. And there's a reason for that. We're not meant to know. But still kind of interesting, though. I'm going to be honest with this. I have heard of stinginess, but this is taking stingy to a whole new level. And I mean a whole new level. You have people that are literally needing the money. You know it's there. You know it exists. They can't find it. Oh, well, we can't locate it. What do you expect them to do? Have a locator chip in with it? There's a tracking number. If they can't find it with the tracking number, then by all necessary consideration, it's lost or stolen or officially missing. Therefore, you put a halt on that draft, or however you want to do it, stop it so it can't be cashed, and then reissue it. It's not that difficult of a concept, nor is it that difficult of a plan to do. Yet, I'm guessing that TD just didn't want to do this because that's too much work for us or something else along the way. Either way, don't care. But in all honesty, that's what I call a cheap cop-out just to piss people off to the point that, well, now I don't really want to use UPS or use TD, And that's just going to come back to haunt them down the road. Oh, sure. Okay, so TD admits that later on they give them the money and they go, yeah, we screwed up. I mean, we screwed up. Here you go. Here you go. Let's just let this be, bygones be bygones. The damage is done. Show me one person that isn't going to be having a sour image from this entire incident. Show me that, and I'll show you a person that really doesn't care. But in all honesty, that is just something that's amazing. So you can't even trust UPS anymore with packages. What happened to the good old days where you could trust people with dropping off a package to your friend's place, or dropping off a package to a friend or a loved one, or just to a completely random stranger? Gone are those days. Can they come back? Like, even a small little bit? That'd be nice. Alright, let's shift gears a little bit here. Anybody remember, this has been out on multiple lists, it has been out in multiple ways for people to know, but anybody know anything about the listing of banned Pokemon episodes? This one should definitely pop into your mind. The infamous seizure-inducing Pokemon episode aired 20 years ago. And this is kind of interesting because this is what set the standards for animation on television from Japan because of this incident. So let me give you a little history of this. So, December 16th, 1997 saw the airing of the first Pokemon series 30th episode, Electric Soldier Porygon, an episode which to this date has never been reshown because of this. So in this episode, since it only premiered in Japan, Satoshi, aka Ash, Pikachu, and pals enter cyberspace to battle the episode's titular Pokemon. During the episode, Pikachu uses his lightning powers to defend against some oncoming missiles, which explode in red and blue throbbing fashion. This caused children to get dizzy, pass out, and go through epileptic seizures, temporary blindness. This literally yanked down Pokemon for about a good, I want to say like month or two, till they could fix this. A grand total of 685 children were rushed to hospitals and ambulances, meaning the episode probably affected even more, though. The series was taken off the air for, it was 4 months, and retooled to avoid any further incidents. They dulled down the color scheme for, like, if Pikachu used, like, lightning or thunderbolt, which you can tell, even in the American version, they kept that. Like, if Pikachu's using, like a thunderbolt or something, it's a darker animation. Like, okay, they sucked 90% of the brightness out of it, and took the contrast down to make it duller and darker so that it won't cause seizures to anyone here in the U.S. Not a bad idea. But this episode has never been seen again. Now, some of the other banned episodes from Pokemon have managed to slowly get themselves unbanned. Beauty and the Beach is one of them, albeit heavily edited. It was released. The one episode where Tentacruel and Tentacool are destroying a beach city was, again, released. Again, heavily edited. And so many other episodes that were banned from Pokemon were released, like I said, slowly, but mostly edited. I remember Beauty and the Beach being one, and the main reason why this one was banned, and this is honestly the reason, and I'm not joking on this. This is actually why this episode was banned. Because in the episode, Ash, Misty, and Brock are at a seaside beach resort. This episode literally takes place after Island of Giant Pokemon, where they're on that Team Rocket created theme park with the giant Pokemon after the events of the St. Anne sinking and the Gyarados. So this episode takes place directly after that. While at this little beach resort, there's a swimsuit competition that's going on. So Misty decides to enter the competition. Ash's mom shows up and decides to enter the competition. And to try to win whatever the prize was, I don't even remember what it is anymore, Jesse and James from Team Rocket decide to enter the contest. Now, if you've ever seen Pokemon, you know that Jesse and James break gender rules in this dramatically, where either of them will swap, costumes for the opposite gender. So, Jesse will wear, a costume and disguise that would be more for a male and vice versa. James would do, the other side and the other way around. So for this, they're both in what you want to call bikinis. And why the episode got banned, because you know why Electric Soldier Porygon was banned. That's freaking easy to understand. I mean, you can see that clip if you ever look up the episode of banned episodes on Wikipedia. They have the clip in a small little box, dulled down so that you don't have a seizure looking at it on the computer screen, but you can still see that exact clip. That's about all the more of the episode you can see outside of Japan, by the way. Unless they yanked it down. I don't know. I haven't checked it lately. I haven't had a reason to. But I know why Beauty and the Beast was banned, and the reason why it was banned was because Team Rocket's James, in order to compete in the quote-unquote beauty contest, donned a pair of inflatable boobs. And at the one point, literally blew them up on stage, and they believed that this would be far too disturbing for children. In a series where parents are allowing a 10-year-old to travel the world, capture little Pokemon into small balls, battle each other, this one Team Rocket member putting on a disguise and going just a little too far with the disguise gets the alert here. This shoots up the red flags. Sure, okay, we'll go with that. But anyway, like I said, it was released then later on, because I do remember it being released as one of the lost episodes that we ended up getting to see here in the U.S. Like I said, though, heavily edited. Pokemon's like a 30-minute show. This episode, when it hit the U.S., was literally 15 minutes. It was half the time. Because I remember watching this episode on TV, and I'm like... And I'm just looking at a clock, and I'm like, it's only been 15 minutes, and they're already wrapping it up. I'm like, what did I miss here? Not realizing that they really sucked half of the episode away because they had to make sure that they removed any and all, instances that involved this. So there you go. I mean, but that was that. But anyway, so 20 years ago, that's right, 20 years ago is when this whole original, because Electric Soldier Porygon, that is the very first incident of this. This is the one that literally got the entire, I think it's the first. If not, it's the most recognizable for it. But it literally got the series yanked from the air. They had to come out with an entirely new structure and set of rules for animation in Japan, which they still follow to this day, mind you. And so much other stuff. I mean, it bounced back. It wasn't exactly the death blow that a lot of people back then were thinking, but think of it this way. It's wonderful. Now, granted, at the time, the incident made international news and Nintendo took a huge hit in the stock market. Yeah, you're going to. Oh, Nintendo's, killing children. Though nobody technically died as far as I know. There were people that were rushed to the hospital. Multiple people were hurt. But nobody, as far as to my knowledge, died. But this is the most iconic instance when a banned episode is remembered. I mean, you could, honest to God, and I'm going to say this, you could look up an entire list of all the banned episodes of Pokemon. You would have the Jinx episode that was banned because they're afraid of racial stereotypes. The episode of the Safari Zone that was banned because Ash had a gun pointed to his head. You have, like I said, Beauty and the Beach. that Tentacruel episode, and this. They're like within the top 10, because I know there's a few more yet. So within the top 10 episodes alone, you have a few of them that are banned. And that explained me, years ago, when Pokemon first hit the US, you had no idea, oh, there's supposed to be an episode here. Okay, you didn't know, because it sometimes did not go in sequential order. I still remember very clearly that when I first saw it, when it apparently was first debuting, it did not start at episode 1. I clearly remember watching Charmeleon try to take on a Paris, and that was my first Pokemon episode. I don't remember Pokemon I Choose You. I don't remember, the second episode with Viridian City. I don't remember any of that until months later. I clearly remember Charmeleon trying to take down a Paris. I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what was happening. And as far as I was concerned, this was something new and strange. I didn't know. And I still stand by that to this day. I did not know. But it's still interesting that this incident is the one that gets the most memories. Well, you injure over 600 children. Yeah, that's definitely going to get you a footnote in the history books. Who knows how many more just didn't, get reported that could have happened with this. Their parents might have just, kept them, calm, kept them from biting their tongue and just let it pass. So who knows how many more people were affected by this. But you figure at least over 600 children, that's a footnote in the history books, at least. Especially 20 years ago. That's a major foothold. That's a footnote, if not a dent in the timeline of, oh, you're going to be remembered. You do not have to worry about nobody remembering you. You will be remembered. Unfortunately, I am old enough to remember, but sadly, 1997, I didn't know anything about this. Let's see, 1997. What was I doing in 1997? Let me think here for a minute. I was born in 89. I started school in 94. Let's see, 97. I think I was in like 3rd grade, I want to say. And like 3rd or 4th grade. And Pokemon did not become popular here until I was in 4th grade. Because I remember trying to get my hands on the Pokemon cards that summer after 4th grade. So I would say like 97, 98. Give or take. So that just tells you. I didn't know anything. But yeah, I didn't know anything about this, incident. Nobody did that was watching this because Pokemon was still new here. And in all honesty, if this episode would have never, because it's been removed from syndication, there's no way you can watch it. Even those illegal and illicit sites that people hate, they don't even have the episode up in Japanese. So you can't see the episode. It's gone. It's done. It's destroyed. You get like a little clip of it, like I said, that part from the Wikipedia article that I saw once, and maybe like a couple snippets on YouTube explaining about it. Other than that, the episode in its entirety, I'm pretty sure, is gone with the wind. It doesn't sound like it's that interesting of an episode, and here's the deal. When you have an entire amalgam of Pokemon, at this time was 150, you can easily skip some of them. Because there's going to be a way to not have them integrated into the plot. A Pokemon that's literally just polygons and looks like it comes from a computer. Yeah, that's one you can skip. No love lost there. But still, it's kind of sad and disturbing that happened. but at the same time, it also opened up the doorway for much better anime standards and stuff that we get today. So while it's bad that it happened, it's good that it happened, because then it could improve the way the world worked, and we anime fans, I guarantee you, are more better for it, and we really are. But 20 years, whew, that's saying something. Alright, so here's an interesting topic. Last week, for those of you who saw the latest Dragon Ball Super English dub episode, you know that they're up to the Super Holy Water arc. That's that little filler episode before the Trunks, the future Trunks arc. And fans, and I mean old school, OG fans, were treated to something very nice, very perfect, with this episode in the form of cloned Vegeta. Now, for those of you that don't know what happens in the episode, here's a spoiler for you, but just in case, Trunks and Goten end up following Monaka to an alien planet where the Super Holy Water, which is pretty much a version of what Korin had on Earth, or claimed to have anyway, where it increased the user's strength. This one's the super version that basically zaps all your strength and creates an evil clone. Yeah. Basically destroys the original, and Vegeta unfortunately got exposed to it and created clone Vegeta. Well, for those of you that ever saw the old school, and I mean the old school, Ocean Group dubs of Dragon Ball Z, that's right, the very first English dub Funimation debuted in North America, okay, you were basically given, now Ocean Dub did their own thing, but Funimation then, dubbed it and all that stuff. But anyway, if you ever watch the old school stuff, you know the meme that has gone viral all over the net. And I know I'm building up to this, you probably already know what it is, but, let me build up to it. There's a meme from the very early onset of Dragon Ball Z with Vegeta and Nappa on Earth. Vegeta reads Goku's power level with his scouter, and he goes that it's over 9,000. Vegeta yelling the infamous words, "It's over 9,000!" Well, guess what? The voice behind that, Brian Drummond, returned as Clone Vegeta in the latest Dragon Ball Super's English dub. That's right. And this was really interesting because this actually, I didn't even know this. Now, first off, as I've announced, and spoken of multiple times, I don't have cable. So watching something Cartoon Network related, either Adult Swim or Toonami wise, isn't exactly easy for me to do. However, this came to my attention because people on Twitter were just lighting up about this. Clone Vegeta is Brian Drummond. And it's literally the perfect entity. I don't care if, Clone Vegeta is only going to be around for like maybe 2.5 episodes. That's fine. I'm perfectly content with that. Here's why. You literally have the original Vegeta, because the Ocean Group's dub of Dragon Ball Z was what a lot of us fans were introduced to at first. So you have the original Vegeta, basically pure evil Vegeta, versing the newer Vegeta. Pure, still somewhat evil, but more pure. And that's what's amazing. So, Funimation put out a tweet, and this is what got a lot of people's attentions, going, cast announcement from the latest hashtag Dragon Ball Super dub episode. Hardcore hashtag DBZ fans will recognize that voice in this blast from DBZ past. We're so hyped to announce that Clone Vegeta, who debuted in this episode, is played by Brian Drummond. And it's just amazing, because I think I retweeted this and was shocked. I'm like, I did not know that it was going to be the original Vegeta. the old school OG Vegeta. I'm like, holy crap. Like, this is huge. The original old school Vegeta that did this. Now, the Vancouver-based studio, the Ocean Group, provided Funimation's English dub for the first 53 edited episodes of Dragon Ball Z. So there you go. Continued to dub episodes for release outside of the U.S., which is why you can still find some of their clips on YouTube, like for the Buu Saga and things like that. However, the studio also planned an English dub for Dragon Ball Z Kai, but it was never released. Thank you. That's a horrific series. Dragon Ball Z Kai is horrific. Funimation later redubbed the early episodes with its in-house cast and released them uncut. Dragon Ball Super premiered back in Japan in July 2015 on Fuji TV and other channels. Funimation's English dub of the anime premiered on Adult Swim Toonami on January 7th. So either way, this is pretty cool. But the fact that you get to listen to Brian Drummond's Golden Pipes coming out of Clone Vegeta and basically having, because you know Goku's gonna fight him. If you've seen Dragon Ball Super so far, you don't mind watching it subbed, you know Goku's gonna be taking on the original, the Clone Vegeta. So he's literally gonna be duking it out with the original Vegeta, and it's gonna be amazing. That is literally what you call an epic battle of battles. I, for one, am looking forward to it. I mean, just hearing the voice, hearing the phrases, hearing the attacks, it's nerdvana. Honestly, it's nerdvana as far as I'm concerned. But it's still pretty cool either way. Like I said, I'm happy for it. And that it made my week last week. When that came out, I was like, yes, yes, yes! Because it just skipped my mind. I did not know that it was literally the old school Vegeta. I'm like, that sounds familiar. And I'm like, holy crap, it is. It's the original Vegeta. And I was just shocked. So that's just amazing. But that just shows how much of a good old school Dragon Ball Z fan I am. Because I noticed it, and I'm still geeking out about it. Alright, let's talk about One Piece. Yay, One Piece! But let's talk about the live-action One Piece series. Boo! Yeah, I know. The live-action One Piece series is going to be beginning with the East Blue arc in July. It was announced that One Piece would be getting a live-action TV adaptation in Hollywood. Why we're getting this, I don't know. However, at Jump Festa 2018, it was revealed that some more of the details about the series were revealed. Appearing in a pre-recorded video, producer Marty Aldenstein said the series will begin with the East Blue arc and broaden from there. Some fans are referring to the arc as the East Blue Saga, which itself contains a number of smaller arcs. Whether you call it the important thing, or whatever you call it, the important thing is that it's the opening of the manga, which introduces Monkey D. Luffy and the whole crew. Essentially, Aldenstein is confirming the series will begin at the beginning rather than in the medias res. In other words, they're starting it off at the start of it, not like 150 episodes in. Oh no, we're not going to start it at part 2 or something, or after the time skip. No, we're going to go all the way to the start. I still want to know why we're getting a live action TV adaptation. Why do we need this? I've constantly said this 1,000 times over, and I will constantly say this 1,000 times more until I'm blue in the face and just die of lack of oxygen from talking about this. Live action adaptations suck. They blow. Dragon Ball Evolution was a movie. And most of the adaptations that I know of are movies. I have yet to come across a series that was any good. But you're taking something that's a manga series to begin with and an anime series, and instead of having it just be anime series drawn, very beautifully, mind you, no, we have to have it live action where people are acting this out. Why? Why not just insult everybody and make a live action DBZ series while you're at it? Or live action Bleach or live action Naruto? Why make a live action One Piece series? The series doesn't have, for starters, One Piece here in the US does not have a staying power and a force behind it. I mean, I talked about this last week when Toonami finally answered the question of, why can't we get decent, anime from them? This is why. And they even said, One Piece did not have the staying power to keep itself going. This is the reason why, people. So some fans, like I said, referring to this as the start of this. The producer also said the series will be a true One Piece, and that he has discussed the project with Ichiro Oda personally. So you're actually going to have the creator involved in this, which, for starters, is a wonderful thing. But here is the message, though, which is from Oda. Let me scroll down here a little bit. Okay. Back when the project was first announced in July, Oda released a message which said, and I quote, "In the last 20 years, the conversation about a live-action adaptation has come up many times. I decided to go forward with the adaptation about 3 years ago. There were many twists and turns. I met a good partner. Today is just about the 20th anniversary. The announcement of the new work is actually just a coincidence. I am very happy. Firstly, I will never betray the fans who have supported me for 20 years. This is my condition. There may be many who are uneasy, but please give me your voices of hope. Please be excited for the follow-up reports. Please look forward to it." Why should we? 3 simple words that I want answered. Why should we look forward to this? Why should we be excited for this? Why should we hope that this is going to be good? You don't want to betray the fans. The series is 20 years old. In all honesty, it's 20 years old. You're letting Hollywood take this over. No offense to the great movie capital and TV capital of the U.S., Hollywood, they can't direct themselves out of a paper bag when it comes to manga and anime stuff. They literally screw up more times than I care to count. Dragon Ball Evolution, Attack on Titan. Well, Attack on Titan was just sucked. But Dragon Ball Evolution, Seizure. Need I go on? And those are just movies. You want an entire series. You're insane. First off, your anime series is over 800 episodes. Be happy the fans are still sticking around at that. But the fact that you're pushing the envelope to, well, we really want this to work out. We really want this and that. It's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So, that's what brings up the interesting question is that, well, how many people are going to be interested in this? I'm certainly not. And the better question is, how are you going to be able to view this? My guess is probably going to be Netflix or Hulu. Probably Netflix. So, there you go. So right off the bat, you're already limiting the amount of people that are going to watch this. You're limiting how many people are going to care about it. And the fact that it's a live-action adaptation, why should we care? If you want to watch all that, just watch the damn series. Read the damn manga. Why make a live-action adaptation of this is what I'm not understanding from this. Why? And that's what I can't get an answer for with this. I don't know. Personally, I have no high hopes for it. I'm just putting that out there. I really have no high hopes for it. But still, with everything One Piece related, yeah, the series has staying power. Out of the 4 old school Shonen Jump manga that you would ever read, it is the only one that's still going. Dragon Ball Z ended. So Dragon Ball ended. It just became Super, but the original ended. Naruto ended. It's now Boruto now. But Naruto ended. Bleach ended. So you have Bleach is done. Dragon Ball's done. Naruto's done. All that's left out of the original 4 is literally One Piece. That's it. It's lasted 20-some years because there is nothing stopping it anymore. It is the last and final of the original 4. You think Shonen Jump, the first 4 manga that come to your mind are literally One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, and Dragon Ball. That's it. And out of those 4, One Piece literally is the only one left of the original 4. So, to come right out and say, well, the fans are going to enjoy this, what fans are you gearing this towards? The anime fans or the manga fans? Because if you're trying to nail both, you're liable to lose all. But I don't know. Like I said, I had no high hopes for this. I had no high hopes for this. I think it's going to crash and burn. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but let's face it, I don't see this doing well. I just don't see this doing very well. But honestly, I'm hoping that I'm wrong for once. Answer Man! Yep. Okay, it's not like an actual thing, but in all honesty, Answer Man is kind of something that's really interesting and unique. And it's something I like. Every now and then, it's a thing that comes up that I see on Facebook, and some of the questions are entertaining. I've talked about a few of them before, and this is one that I definitely found intriguing, I want to say. So, the question was, are old American TV dubs of anime lost forever? This was asked by someone by the name of John. And John's question was, a few years ago, we have gotten Blu-ray re-releases of Cardcaptor Sakura from NISA and Sailor Moon from Viz, but neither company managed to get the old dubs that aired on American television, which a lot of people fondly remember. Will we ever see these old dubs again, or are they just lost forever? So the Answer Man came up with this, going, I don't know that they're lost forever, but they're certainly not going to resurface anytime soon. So here's a little background. So this is what I find interesting, is that they answer the question and they give you a history lesson at the same time. So let's take a little trip back in the Wayback Machine. Yes, I stole this from a professor from Peabody and Sherman when their backs were turned. But let's go up into the Wayback Machine and go back to the 90s. Back then, communication with Japan was anything but easy or cheap. And this was literally what the Answer Man is saying. Email wasn't common until the very late 90s, especially with Japanese companies. And yeah, forget about sending audio and video back then like that. It was text only. It's an over-glorified texting device at that point. The only way to communicate was call, send faxes at very high international phone rates, or send something by international post. So in the anime business, once a show got licensed to an American company, the Japanese licensor really couldn't do squat about it. Now today, of course, it's very different because with the advent of high-speed internet, the ability to send audio and video via emails, companies can have their hands in what you're doing. If they don't like a choice of voice for the character, no, you must stop. If they don't like how you're designing the character, or how you're color scheming it because it seems off to them, no, you must stop. So, a huge amount of control over the U.S. packaging, dub scripts, casting, and everything else is held tremendously. Because producers expect and receive a huge amount of control over those. But back in the 90s, the companies got away with just about anything they wanted to do. Which is why you have so many unique OVAs that are out there because, hey, we got the license for it. Hey, we can do whatever we want because it's going to cost us an arm and a leg to talk back and forth with you. And, hey, look, we got a classic. Oh, this one's a flop. Hey, look, we got a classic. 5 more flopped. I mean, that's seriously what it basically was. So another problem, though, according to the answer man with this is Japanese copyright law and entertainment system over there is supposed to let the original creators of a show sign off on creative decisions and otherwise maintain control over their creations. That often didn't happen back in the 90s. The publisher of the original work, acting as their agent, would just take care of things and the creator wouldn't even be consulted. Ouch. This was especially an issue with shoujo manga and female manga artists. Because, for those of you that don't know, shoujo manga is to women, females, and girls what shonen is to males, boys, and men. There you go. Free little history lesson. So fast forward to today, and if those artists are now powerful and successful, then you can bet they're going to be a lot more controlling of their work. No, you can't make my character's boobs that big. They're not Planet Busters. Take her down to a B cup. She's supposed to be smart and sassy. This ain't no Ichi. So, and they're probably not going to be willing to keep approving the existence of versions they never liked, like I just explained. So, when a show gets licensed or rescued, the licensor often doesn't even have the rights to the adapted version, especially if the company doing the adaptation before the company was a big company like Dick or Nevela. A new company rescuing a show like that would have to track down the rights to the adapted show separately. Even if they did, the licensor would have to okay its use. If the licensor is embarrassed over what happened before, or the creator was frustrated that their show got heavily adapted, there's no way they'd okay the re-release of it. Which sucks. So in other words, it's like, well, we tracked down the original, like, let's say hypothetically they tracked down the original dub of Sailor Moon. And I mean the old Dick dub. The DIC dub of this. And they bring it to, it's like, well, we want to re-release this. So they have to show it to the original creator. And they look at this and go, where the beep did you find this? No, what beeping hole did you drag this out of? They get pissed off about it. It ain't getting re-released. It's getting chucked right in the trash can. So it's easy to see, this could end badly. Frankly, the only reason that we're getting so many re-releases of 90s dubs is because a show is so old that often nobody in Japan cares anymore. Or they just figure, hey, cheap source of money that we can funnel into other more popular series. I mean, if you have a licensor that has like 17 new anime series and they're running low on the cash flow, hey, we want to re-release a couple series that you own the rights for in the 90s. Really? Let me see. Okay, so this month you can have all 3 of these and re-release it. We don't care what you want to do with it anymore. Yeah, deal. All right, let's do this thing. And that's probably what happens. But still, it's just a bit sad to honestly think about this, but it's hurtful if anything, but still just sad. Just sad. But there you go, though. If you're ever wondering how come we can't, I mean, if you remember, in all honesty, if you remember some of these old school dubs, that's really showing your age. I mean, I could tell you 3 of them that I would probably remember, but I don't even remember them fondly. But that's just showing your age at that point. But still, it's kind of sad that that's what happens with good old shows. But, I mean, it makes sense. I wouldn't want somebody like 30 years from now wanting to recreate my podcast without my consent. I mean, I'd be in my 50s. And they're looking at me like, well, we want to re-release your podcast. We want to be in charge of it. We want to take your old episodes and re-authorize them and everything else. And I see this and give the okay on it and go, yeah, no. I mean, I wouldn't want to have them screw something up. So I see why they would do that. But still, I mean, it is kind of sad that that's what happens. But still, the more you know. Because as they used to say in G.I. Joe when it was on early in the morning that I would remember watching, or from funny jokes that just never wanted to die, knowledge is power. Well, there you go. Now you know. Alright, here's an interesting topic that ironically I stumbled upon this morning. So apparently, this is a first. I want to stress before I go any further. This is a first for me. I have never, ever talked about this person in the history of the podcast. That's right. For an entire year, over a year, I have not mentioned this person. It's time to flip the card back to 0 on this. At least I don't remember ever talking about this person. But apparently, good old William Shatner. For those of you who don't know who that is, that's Captain James Tiberius Kirk for you Star Trek nerds. T.J. Hooker, for those of you that remember that show. Not to mention a plethora of other things he's done, like the Priceline guy, so on and so forth. Well, apparently, his favorite Love-Live character is Yumi. Or, so we're, yeah. So, Otaku USA, not to mention, like, Anime News Network had a thing up. William Shatner, Yumi. Well, there's a headline I never expected to write, and I find that hilarious. So William Shatner, the Golden Globe winning actor, best known for his role as Star Trek's Captain Kirk, has been tweeting up a storm about an unexpected topic, the Idol series Love Live. I wanted to make sure I pronounced that right and I didn't screw it up. It all began when a user tweeted at Shatner asking a very important question about the veteran actor's favorite Love Live character. To the shock of the anime and Star Trek internet nerd confluence, Shatner actually responded, the answer, question mark, Yumi, U-M-I. So, here's the actual tweet that was said. It goes, why? Okay, it's Yumi. And then, I guess there was a reply, and he goes, as if to prove he wasn't just humoring this Twitter user, Shatner then unleashed a series of follow-up tweets, letting the world know he's not a particular fan of Maki or Nico, too stubborn, and when it comes to sunshine, the sunshine like Ely, partial to blondes. So, here you go. It goes, the next tweet on this list from this article goes, I know how to spell Maki. If I wanted someone stubborn, I'd choose her or Nico. And he goes, I'm partial to blondes, so Ely. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. Eventually, the source of Shatner's surprisingly deep Love Live knowledge was revealed. His granddaughters are into it. I didn't know he had grandchildren. I mean, I knew he had children, but I didn't know he had grandchildren. But it's safe to say that Shatner has officially gone where no other former Enterprise captain has ever, and I doubt will ever, go again. But in all honesty, I mean, a lot of the stuff that you see with celebrities online, you have to take with a grain of salt. Is it real or is it fake? And like I said, in all honesty, even if this is fake, I find this hilarious as hell. Because here you have a man literally known for one thing. I was Captain Kirk. Spock, give me a reading. That's what he was known for. He was known as being Captain James T. Kirk. Or because I'll show my Star Trek nerditude, I know his full name. James Tiberius Kirk. There, I said it. Not a fan of James T. Kirk. I did not like the original Star Trek. I'm sorry. Next Generation was better. The original Star Trek, they were all a bunch of whiny kids. I'm going to come right out and say that. Granted, they were like in their 40s or 30s when the thing was shot, but still, they were nothing but little whiny stuck-up pains in the neck. They all had chips on their shoulders, they all wanted to be in the spotlight, and Shatner was the one trying to outshine them all. You won't hear me deny that, nor will you hear me ever say otherwise. As far as why Shatner did all this, I don't know, maybe he really does like the anime series, or maybe he's just trying to be a good grandfather. I don't know. I mean, my mom, when I was growing up, would watch some of the anime stuff that I would watch. That's how she knows Dragon Ball GT sucks. She's even openly admitted it. Yeah, I watched some of the stuff that you were buying, like you buy the VHS tapes of Dragon Ball GT and you'd go to sleep and I'd be like, okay, let me see what my son's been watching. And she would pop in a VHS tape, watch an episode and go, wow, this sucks. Why is he buying this crap? Because I didn't know any better at the time. I knew the series was bad, but I didn't know how bad. And I wanted to see it full. I wanted to see it through, thinking maybe there was a light at the end of the tunnel. There was. The series ended. That was the light at the end of the tunnel. But still, to know that Shatner is a fan of anime, or at least a fan of one anime, that kind of, I guess, gives hope that, hey, look, you could be a fan of a series, even if you're, famous for being a science fiction character. Yeah, that still gives you hope. It's strange and weird, and in all honesty, I can safely say this. If I end up seeing somewhere that Shatner is going to be voicing an anime character in a dub, I think that's when the entire plethora of Star Trek fans and anime nerds will lose it. Otakus alike will go screaming in agony. No offense, Mr. Shatner, but, I mean, let's face it. You're known for old TV shows. You're known as Captain Kirk. No offense, when you finally pass on and get beamed up like Scotty and Spock were, you are going to be known as James T. Kirk. You'll be known as James T. Kirk long after you bite the big one. So it's just safe to say you're James T. Kirk. But still, it's interesting to know that you at least like an anime series. Touché. Not bad. Alrighty, folks. Well, that's going to do it this week for the absolutely, completely random podcast. I'd like to thank all the wonderful sites that I got my information from. My wonderful fans that watch me every single week. Speaking of which, my one fan is going to be celebrating birthdays this weekend. Apparently their mom and brother are celebrating a birthday. As of, if I understood the comment correctly on last week's video, it should be today when I'm recording the podcast, the 23rd. So, happy birthday to your mom and your brother, Capone Alderon. I keep thinking I'm messing up your username, and I probably am, and I do apologize for that. Or Aldeline, or I don't know. Like I said, I swear I keep mispronouncing it, and I do apologize for that. But anyway, probably having a blast celebrating your mom and your brother's birthday. That's cool. But anyway, folks, like I said, that's going to do it this year. That's going to do it this week for the podcast. Yeah, this year. That'll be next week's, because next week ends 2017. Well, at least it will for the podcast, because keep in mind, Monday's Christmas, and Next Monday, not this coming Monday, but the following Monday, is New Year's. That's right. So next week's podcast will be the last one for 2017. And that'll be interesting. I don't know what I have planned for that. I'm just sad that I couldn't track Santa this year, the Holly Jolly Prowler. Oh well. Maybe next time. But anyway, folks, for the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast, I'm Andrew Rhodes. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful holiday. And just in case something happens in the world comes to an end before next week, Y2K may have been off a few years for all we know. Have a nice one, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody!